All right, so Bruce Arians gave his interesting Bengals Super Bowl prediction. Wow. Again, like I said many times on this channel, it all coming together. You know, the cards are all lining up, the stars are all lining up, and it's just going to continue going down the line. I will be boosting my audio from now on all my videos, like moving forward. So I'm going to boost it up around 25-35%. But I really need you guys to tell me down below how it sounds. So it's going to be boosted up after in post-production to try to make it, excuse me, in case it is quiet for anyone, I'm going to try to make it a little bit louder, okay? So, a little side note, but let's go ahead and listen up to Bruce Arians. I got to cover half the screen, as you already know why.
Now, it's so difficult to try and identify one because it just seems to be so wide open right now. Bruce, who do you think that is?
Right now? I keep going back and forth. I thought the Rams were, and then they go to Carolina, and Dave Canales and Harold Goodwin and Joey Gilbert. They've done a hell of a job in Carolina. I don't know if there is a best team in the NFL. Right now. I know this. You don't want to play Seattle at home. You don't want to play Detroit at home. You don't want to play really any of the really good teams at home, especially Denver. People that have that speed pass rush. You're going like last night was a prime example. Dallas has been playing great, but those tackles had no chance, especially against Aiden Hutchinson alone with that crowd noise. People don't realize how much crowd noise affects the offensive line.
So if you had to put your marker on one, would be who? Come on, you know why these shows work, Bruce. You got to give me. I don't have a topic bar at the bottom that you have to answer a specific question, but if you had to put your marker on one right now with a month to go, I'm
a little bit of a homer. I think the Bucks with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jamel McMillan, and then even Clyde Johansson, all maybe coming back in the next 2 weeks. I think the Bucks could be getting healthy at the right time. Get a couple of wins under their belt, and have those 2 games with the Panthers and see who goes. But again, home field advantage in the playoffs is huge.
And then what about the AFC? Who do you think is the team out there? Right?
I'm gonna say it again. I just watch out for the Bengals, man. I just think with Joey B coming back, they're going to get on a run and win the North, and they can go on the road. They can go on the road and score points against anybody.
Because he's Burrow. I mean, how does that work where a defense can't stop a cold? And obviously they were beginning to get a little bit better before Burrow comes back. He comes back. They come up with their best defensive performance of the season. I know there's another team that's involved, and the Ravens have been struggling on offense, which is another reason why a lot of people would agree with your sensibility about the Bengals. But how does that happen?
It's crazy. What one guy can change it. What Patrick Mahomes has done in Kansas City, he's raised the level of play for everybody. And I think Joe Burrow does the same thing. And when he's in that locker room, there's an air of confidence without defense, offense, special teams. And Joe Flacco, man, he did an unbelievable job in his absence, getting that ball to Chase and Higgins, and all of a sudden they got a running game. So I think the Bengals are a team that could get on a roll. If they can get past the Bills, they got maybe the easiest schedule going out.
Brother, if the Bengals and Bucks play each other in Super Bowl 60, I'm coming to you for Powerball numbers, okay?
There you go, brother.
Okay, just if there's billions on the line, I'm coming to you and say, tell me some numbers. Hit me with that Powerball if it's Bucks and Bengals in Santa Clara come February. Hey, you made it all the way.
So, let's talk about that. First off, I think it could definitely be Bucks Bengals. It would not shock me. Honestly, as they said in this video, I don't really think there is a best team, and I think every single team, once you get to the playoffs, things get a lot more put into picture, especially with the fact of you get to the playoffs, and now it's about coaching one, and it's also about quarterback play and history of quarterback play of someone who can actually win in the playoffs. For example, Lamar Jackson is the biggest playoff joke. If you get to the playoffs, you don't want Lamar Jackson, right? You're going to want a Joe Burrow who's 5-2 in the playoffs. But you also don't want to get to the playoffs with Sam Darnold, who's also, I think he's 0-1 in the playoffs. So you don't want that. Drake May is brand new. He's never been in the playoffs. You don't know how he's going to react. And again, even the best regular season quarterbacks, we have seen it throughout history. Peyton Manning, good example of this. Philip Rivers, a good example of this. Where in the regular season, a quarterback can be amazing. But then in the postseason, they just suck. Lamar Jackson's a good example of that. So it's one of those things that once we get in there, once you get in the show, anything's possible. And it's 3 games. It's 3 games to get to a Super Bowl. First game, obviously, probably the most winnable game because it's going to be a home game for us if we win the division. And then, yeah, potentially 2 road games. But when you have Joe Burrow, anything is possible. When you have Joe Burrow, anything could happen. There's no if and buts when you have Joe Burrow. So I've said it many times, I'll say it again, and now I'm happy that other analysts are starting to realize this and kind of picking up on this as well. Man, it's our year. It's our year. We said this since the beginning of the year. We felt this since the beginning of the year. Obviously, we did not expect it to go this way for it to be our year, but that's just kind of how it is, man, you know? We had to deal with the adversity. We had to deal with the bull crap of having to deal with losing a quarterback for 2 months. We had to deal with our defense being the worst in NFL history. Just for them, as Rich said here, to really start coming back together and playing good football again. But we had to deal with all that crap. And it's the best stories have the most complicated and crazy twist throughout them. And that's what we saw this year. This story this year is the most crazy and convoluted twist left, right, and center. It's not just a straight up, hey, this team went 16-0 and beat every team and won the Super Bowl. No, this team fought tooth and nail with every single team possible and found a way to overcome even the Zach Taylor adversity to be able to go and win a Super Bowl. So again, you know, it's a beautiful thing. So, Buccaneers, I wouldn't be surprised if we played them in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of teams that, you know, I would not be shocked at. I mean, for Pete's sake, I would be shocked if we somehow played, think about like a random team. Somehow we played the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. That would not shock me either. Again, like I said, this year, I think we realize this and you're learning more and more as you watch this year. It is football is already like, you know, anything could happen. This year was just a magical anything could happen year. I mean, the Dolphins right now, they might get to the playoffs. And I know it's crazy to say, but the Dolphins, they're 5-7, okay? They might get that 6th seed in the playoffs depending on how the year ends. And they're fighting tooth and nail to get that 6th seed. Which, again, you know, there's no way you could say the Dolphins 1,000% can't make the Super Bowl either. This year is that year where anything could happen. Dreams will come true. I don't know what that means. But anyway, don't know what I thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one.